यहाँ वीडियो ऐसे
वैसे करिएगा कि लैपटॉप दिया
लैपटॉप दिया
मैं जो लोग हैं उनकी फ़ोटो भी ऐसे
तो ये ऐसे कैसे आप आएंगे ठीक
This book was a short collection of the rules of maritime laws and practice for use in admiralty courts. Edward III set down certain articles regarding the admiralty and seafaring. Many of these articles were based on the Code of Rolls d'Oléron. All these articles were included in the Bread Book of Admiralty. Origin of Admiralty Courts. Before the King Edward III region court or marine tribunals were established, they dealt with mainly matters related to navy. These courts or marine courts were subject to the authority of the admirals. Cases related to discipline over the vessels and crews and the cases related to determination of piracy and prizes were under the jurisdiction of these admiralty courts. Lawyers expert in the maritime laws and in ancient customs of the sea were appointed as deputies or lieutenants in the regular tribunals. Appointment of these deputies or lieutenants established the first admiralty court in England. As equal to the Admiralty Court of England, one Admiralty Court was also established in the Scotland. Division of the world. In 1295, the Pope Boniface VIII gave a gift to Iceland, Garva and Cascani of Tunis coast to the Sicilian Admiral Robert Doria. In 1344, Pope Clement VII granted Carignan Iceland to Prince Don Luis de Leixeira of Castilian origin, serving as the French ambassador. In 1345, King Alfonso IV of Portugal issued a letter with argument that the Portuguese should receive the exclusive right over the Canary Island because they were the first discoverer of the Iceland. He argued that after the war between Portuguese and Castilian, the Castilian were failed to conquer the Canary Island after the discovery. The King Alfonso IV challenged the right of Pope Clement VII to donate the Canary Island to Don Luis de Leixeira. In 479, by the Treaty of Alcoas, the King Alfonso V recognized the possession of Castilla on the Canary Island and the monarchy of Spain. The Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella of Castile recognized the claim of Portugal to the Azores, Madeira, Guyana and the Cape Verde Islands.
लेकिन फिर ये नहीं आएगा लैपटॉप आएगा
The Pope Sixtus IV confirmed this 1479 Treaty of Alcoas after knowing the intent of Portugal to claim into Indies and into adjacent seas.
यहाँ ऐसे ले लो ऐसे
From Columbus, the Spain sent envoys to Rome to state their cases and to receive papal confirmation of right of Spain of ownership. The Pope Alexander VII granted to Portugal the exclusive right to a region stretching from Ceuta on southern coast of Strait of Gibraltar and to the unexplored region of South Guyana. In 1452, ownership of African west coast was also granted to Portugal. In 1456, the Calixtus III granted to Portugal all kinds of ordinary jurisdiction, both in possession and the other islands and places. In 1493, Pope Alexander VI, by the bull Inter Caetera, drew a straight line from the North Pole to South Pole. This line was past 100 leagues to the west of Azores and Cape Verde Island. In 494, this straight line was shifted to pass 370 leagues to the west of Cape Verde Island. The Pope granted the area falls in the west of the line to the Spain, and the area falls to the coast of this line to the Portugal. In 7 June 1494, the Pope Alexander VI divided the world between Spain and Portugal. It was called Treaty of Tordesillas 494. He gave the rights and jurisdiction over the Pacific Ocean and Gulf of Mexico to the Spain, and Atlantic Ocean, South Ocean of Mexico, and Indian Ocean to the Portugal. The research scholar has discussed the discovery of sea route of India, meaning of maritime law, and concept of freedom of open sea and high sea. He highlighted the Machiavellian, its principles, and its mathematical axioms. Basic principles of the Machiavellian: the perfect equality and entire independence of all nations, the equal rights of all nations. Chapter 4 deals with concept of coastal ecology and marine environment position in international law. After the Second World War, from 1939 to 45, the first United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea was held in Geneva in 1958. In this conference, the 4 conventions were adopted. Number 1, the United Nations Convention on the High Seas 1958. Number 2, the United Nations Convention on the Continental Shelf 1958. Number 3, the United Nations Convention on the Territorial Sea and Contiguous Zone 1958. Number 4, the United Nations Convention on Fishing and Conservation of the Living Resources of the High Sea 1958. The second United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea was held in Geneva in 1960. The United Nations Convention on the Transit Trade of Landlocked Countries was adopted in 1965. Survey of Arvid Prado. In 1st November 1967 at New York, Arvid Prado, the ambassador of useful purposes of the seaweed and ocean floor and subsoil thereof, underlying the high seas beyond the limits of present national jurisdiction. He argued for the usage of these resources in the interest of mankind. He informed the General Assembly about the tremendous wealth of the oceans in the form of minerals and hydrocarbon resources. He suggested the need for creation of an effective international regime for the seaweed and the ocean floor beyond national jurisdiction and acceptance of that area as common heritage of mankind and to be used and exploited for the benefit of mankind. The General Assembly accepted this proposal and established a seaweed committee to prepare a third United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea, common heritage of mankind. In 1970, the General Assembly unanimously adopted a resolution concerning declaration of principles governing the seaweed and ocean floor and the subsoil thereof beyond the limits of national jurisdiction 1970, resolution number 2749. Third United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea held from 1970 to 1982. The Seaweed Committee works interest groups negotiating by consensus, passive and active consensus, transformation of passive consensus to active consensus, negotiating text, a package deal convention. The Convention on Wetland of International Importance, especially as waterfowl habitat, was adopted at Ramsar in Iran in 1971. The third United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea was held between 1973 and 1982. Chapter 5th and 6th deals with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea 1982. The preamble of this United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea 1982 read as follows. the state parties to this convention, prompted by the desire to settle in a spirit of mutual understanding and cooperation, all issues relating to the sea, law of the sea, and aware of the historic significance of this convention as an important contribution to the maintenance of peace, justice, and progress for all peoples of the world. Noting that developments since the United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea held at Geneva in 1958 and 1960 have accentuated the needs for a new and generally acceptable convention on the law of the sea. Conscious that the problems of ocean space are closely interrelated and need to be considered as whole, recognizing the desirability of establishing through the convention with due regard for the sovereignty of all states a legal order for the seas and oceans which will facilitate international communication and will promote the peaceful usage of the seas and oceans, the equitable and efficient utilization of their resources, the conservation of their living resources, and the steady protection and preservation of the marine environment. Bearing in mind that the achievement of these goals will contribute to the realization of a just and equitable international economic order which takes into account the interests and needs of mankind as a whole, and in particular the special interests and needs of developing countries, whether coastal or landlocked, desiring by the convention to develop the principles embodied in resolution number 2749 of 17 December 1970, in which the General Assembly of the United Nations solemnly declared inter alia that the area of the seaweed and ocean floor and the subsoil thereof beyond the limits of national jurisdiction as well as its resources are the common heritage of mankind, the exploration and exploitation of which shall be carried out for the benefit of mankind as a whole, irrespective of the geographical location of states. Believing that the codification and progressive development of the law of the sea achieved in this convention will contribute to the strengthening of peace, security, cooperation, and friendly relations among all nations in conformity with the principles of justice and equal rights, and will promote the economic and social advancement of all peoples of the world in accordance with the purposes and principles of the United Nations as quoted in the United Nations Charter. Affirming that matters not recognized by this convention continue to be governed by the rules and principles of general international law. The convention has 320 articles divided into 17 parts along with 9 annexures. The provisions of the convention may be analyzed as follows. Part first of the convention is introduction, Article 1. Part second of the convention includes territorial sea from Article 2 to 32 and continuous zone, Article 33. Part third of the convention is trade used for international navigation, Article 34 to 45. Part 4th of the convention, archipelagic state, Article 46 to 54. Part 5th of the convention, exclusive economic zone, Articles 55 to 75. Part 6 of the convention, continental shelf, Article 76 to 85. Part 7th of the convention, high seas, Article 86 to 120. Part 8 of the convention, regime of islands, Article 121. Part 9 of the convention, enclosed or semi-enclosed seas, Article 122 to 123. Part 10 of the convention right of access of landlocked state to and from the sea and freedom of transit. Article 124 to 132. Part 11. The area. Article 133 to 191. Part 12 of the Convention, Protection and Preservation of the Marine Environment, Article 192 to 237. Part 13 of the Convention, Marine Scientific Research, Article 238 to 265. Part 14 of the Convention, Development and Transfer of Marine Technology, Articles 266 to 278. Part 15 of the Convention, Settlement of Disputes, Article 279 to 299. Part 16 of the Convention, General Provisions, Article 300 to 304. Part 17 of the Convention, Final Provisions, Article 305 to 320. Chapter 7 of the deals with settlement of international disputes. In this chapter, the research scholar has discussed the Hague Convention 1899, the Hague Convention 1907, optional rules for arbitrating disputes between two states 1992, optional rules for arbitration for arbitrating disputes between two parties of which only one is a state 1993. Optional rules for arbitration involving international organizations and states 1996. Optional arbitration rules for arbitration between international organizations and private parties 1996. Permanent Court of Arbitration Rules 2012. Chapter 8 deals with international courts of justice, role in emergence of the law of the sea. In this chapter, the research scholar has discussed the Statute of Permanent Court of International Justice 1920, rules of the Permanent Court of International Justice 1922, the Statute of International Court of Justice 1945, rules of International Court of Justice 1978. The research scholar has discussed the following cases: SS Lotus, France vs. Turkey, 1992, PCIJ Series A, number 10. Number 2, Corfu Channel cases, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland vs. Albania, ICJ report 1949. Anglo-Norwegian fisheries cases, United Kingdom vs. Norway, ICJ report 1951. North Sea continental cases, Federal Republic of Germany vs. Denmark and Federal Republic of Germany vs. Netherlands, ICJ report 1969. Whaling in the Antarctica case, Australia vs. Japan, New Zealand intervening, ICJ report 2014. Somalia vs. Kenya, preliminary objection judgment, ICJ report 2007. Chapter 9 deals with International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, settlement of disputes. In this chapter, the research scholar has discussed the Statute of International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea 1982, rules of the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea 1997, guidelines concerning the preparation and presentation of cases before the Tribunal 1997. He has described following cases: Saint Vincent and Grenadines versus Guyana, International Tribunal on the Law of the Sea reports 1997. Panama versus France, ITLOS report 2000. Seychelles versus France, ITLOS report 2000. Belize versus France, ITLOS report 2001. Russian Federation versus Australia, ITLOS report 2002. Saint Vincent and Grenadines versus Guyana-Bissau, ITLOS report 2004. Japan versus Russian Federation, ITLOS report 2005-2006. Bangladesh versus Myanmar, ITLOS report 2012. Italy versus India, ITLOS report 2015. Chapter 10 deals with control, prevention, reduction, mitigation and elimination of marine environment pollution. In this chapter, the research scholar has discussed the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution of the Sea by Oil, 1954, The International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from SIPS 1973. The Protocol of 1978 relating to the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from SIPS 1973. The Protocol of 1997 to amend the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from SIPS 1973 as modified by the Protocol of 1978. The International Convention relating to intervention on the high seas in cases of oil pollution, casualty 1969. Treaty banning nuclear weapon test in the atmosphere in outer space and underwater 1963. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty 1996. The Convention on the Prevention of Marine Pollution by Dumping of Waste and Other Matters 1972. Regulation for Control of Incineration of Waste and Other Matters Act C 1978. Chapter 11 deals with Agenda 21, Protection of Marine Environment and Sustainable Development of Resources of Oceans and the Earth. In this chapter, the research scholar has made a vast study about the basic principles of Agenda 21. Chapter 12 deals with award in South China Sea dispute and analytical study. In this chapter, the research scholar has made a vast analytical study of the South China Sea dispute, Philippines versus China, Permanent Court of Arbitration 2016. The following were the judges in the case: Mr. Thomas A. Minas, presiding arbitrator; Mr. Jean Perry Court; Mr. Stanislaw Pollack; Mr. Professor Alfred A. Soon; Mr. Rüdiger Wolfram. The following countries are the party in this case: number 1 Vietnam, number 2 Malaysia, number 3 Brunei, number 4 Singapore, number 5 Indonesia, number 6 Philippines, number 7 Taiwan, number 8 Thailand, number 9 Hong Kong, number 10 Japan, number 11 South Korea, and number 12 Laos. In this chapter, research scholar has discussed the declaration of the government of the People's Republic of China on China's territorial sea in 1958. China's large on territorial sea and contiguous zone 1992. China's declaration on exclusive economic zone 1996. China's large on the exclusive economic zone and the continental shelf 1998. Chapter 13 to 16 deals with the concept of coastal ecology and marine environment position in India. In these chapters, the research scholar has discussed following matters. Number 1, Article 297 of the Constitution of India. Article 297 of Constitution of India deals with things of value within territorial waters or continental shelf and resources of the exclusive economic zone to west in the Union. It provides all lands, minerals and other things of value underlying the ocean within the territorial water or the continental shelf or the exclusive economic zone of India shall vest in the Union and be hold for the purpose of the Union. All other resources of the exclusive economic zone of India shall also vest in the Union and be hold for the purpose of the Union. The limits of the territorial waters, the continental shelf, the exclusive economic zone and other maritime zones of India shall be such as may be specified from time to time by or under any law made by the Parliament. Number 2. The territorial waters, continental shelf, exclusive economic zone and other maritime zones Act 1976. Object of the Act are an act to provide for certain matters relating to the territorial waters, continental shelf, exclusive economic zone and other maritime zones of India. The Act of 1976 has 16 sections. The provisions of the Act may be analyzed as follows. The territorial waters from Section 3 and 4. The contiguous zone of India, Section 5. The continental shelf of India, Section 6. The exclusive economic zone of India, Section 7. The historic water of India, Section 8. Determination of maritime boundary between India and any state whose coast is opposite or adjacent to that of India, Section 9. Baseline of India, Section 10. Penalty for the infringement of the Act, Section 11 to 14. Powers of central government to make rules, Section 15 and 16. The Coastal Regulation Zone Notification 1991. The Coastal Regulation Zone Notification 1991. The Coastal Regulation Zone Notification 2011. The Iceland Protection Zone Notification 2011. The Coastal Regulation Zone Notification 2018. Chapter 17 deals with concluding observations. In this chapter, the research scholar has given beautiful concluding observations. It is an obligation of the United Nations to work for the preservation, protection and promotion of the coastal ecology and marine environment. Further, it is an obligation of states to observe the principles, resolutions, declarations and conventions of the United Nations for the preservation, protection and promotion of the coastal ecology and marine environment.